Okay, we're back, recording a bit earlier than usual. There might be more noise in the background or something. Hopefully not, I've been testing a little with that. I was just in the mood, I wanted to get this thing done, have a full game shown off on the channel. If you want to give someone a real spread of Anthony thought, you can point them to a whole playthrough of Pikmin now. Or at least you will be able to in a couple of hours. We're pretty close to the end of this thing. I know this game well, I'm very comfortable with it, and yeah, this just seemed like a fun way to spend time. Now, where were we? I believe some Pikmin got left behind, but yeah, we were getting on top of this area. We're in that big open water area, and yeah, it's not so scary. We just got some big things to clear out, but you know, a lot of this place is just building bridges and knocking down walls, which is very easy. I just realized on the right there, this game has a very good heads-up display where it's got that like 2000s future bubble look that people apparently started calling Fruitager Aero at some point recently. God, don't they look nice when they're all crowded around Olimar? Just look at how simple the graphics effects are here. They're just one tone with a gradient and like a seam in the middle because of how their texture works, I think, but it just works really well. This low resolution, like, stretched photo grass and these little, very simple, no collision model Pikmin. I'm really just in awe of how this game looks. Now, maybe I should hurry, but it's not really a hard game. Yeah, I forget about the heads-up display along the bottom of the screen constantly, but it's always there, and giving us stuff we do need to see. We have 603 Pikmin right now, that's pretty good. If I have basically the whole swarm at once, I think I can take this guy. Get him! Alright, cleaned him up. Now the other one, I don't know if we can get him straight on, but yeah, we'll go around a little bit. Oh, there's actually another one who got buried there. A few of them got done like that. Let's turn a few more into flowers for some more power, why not? I can take this very easily, we're near the end of the game. I had no particular things in mind to talk about, I actually just wanted to play a game, and good on me, I've gotten to the point where it seems fun not just to play one, but to talk about it here and provide something for, you know, the few people who really, like, watch pretty much all of these, like, end to end. I know there's at least a few of you. And, you know, I wasn't sure if anyone would, so, you know, if there was even one of you, this would be worth it, but there's a few, so that's pretty nice. Now, so, yeah, if I make more or take longer, I guess that's not really a problem, is it? It's just more stuff for the people who are really into this. Oh, man, did I mess that up? Not quite, we're fine. I'm not sure what they found. They found another job to do back there, but, yeah, I'm just going to try to clean up these big scary monsters who are in the way. I'd better make sure I have lots of blues before I fight that frog, he will mess me up. That's something I like, they all kind of rush to do a job, like carrying something when I order them to, and then as they realize there's no space they get disappointed and go idle. It creates a kind of challenge where, like, you can just lose lots of Pikmin along the way because they miss out on a job and then they just go idle and you can forget them in place, but you know, it's not really like a serious thing like, oh, that's being good at the game means being aware of that. It's, again, just like a funny quirk of the Pikmin as actors. They just do things which are funny very naturally over the course of playing the game, and yeah, that's just something that's lost now. Nothing really, just entities as actors in video game worlds don't really have that kind of fun behavior anymore. It's the kind of thing that you would expect even like obnoxious like streamer bait or like Seth bait, like new indie games to catch onto, but it really isn't. It's just like a completely unclaimed niche. Nobody is even trying to do it in like a really obnoxious meme way that misses the point. Again, just there's only so many ways that I can say this. Like, to me, this is like the appeal of video games, and there's just absolutely like no one who gets it. There is nothing out there for someone who enjoys video games in the way I do, except old things. Well, I should say, there are new Pikmin games. I don't have, wait, no, I do have a Switch lying around. I got one off someone. But, yeah, there's Pikmin 4, I suppose, and I haven't played that yet, but that's still just, like, the one game, and frankly, most Pikmin fans are, like, really, really stupid and have, like, no real... You know, you could very easily sell them some kind of counterfeit that doesn't do most of the Pikmin things and call it Pikmin, and they'd probably still like it because people are idiots. Ooh, this isn't going very well, speaking of idiocy. Oh gee, how many did I lose to one frog? I don't like these guys, as you may have noticed. Come on guys, we can take him! Get him! Okay, I better just punch him when he comes back down as well. There we go. Okay, they're gonna need to regenerate with all that stuff while I go get more. And there's another one right there. And I don't even have the other Pikmin doing anything right now. So my controller is compulsively trying to disconnect itself. It just does that. The PlayStation 4 is a pretty trashy piece of work. I just got a Discord notification on my screen. That's very obnoxious. I try to turn all of those things off. I'll have to check when I watch this back if that comes up or not. But yeah, I have to run my blues over there and just get them doing a job now, and yeah, just a very laid-back day of Pikmin jobs to do here, which is nice. This whole area, again, we have 18 days. I could clean this up at a part a day and still be ahead of schedule, but yeah, I don't need to do that. This'll take a couple of days or so. Oh, they don't want me just taking a few up there to clean up, do they? Oh, I genuinely forgot that. These things die if they touch water. Handy. Come on, you stupid bugs. Now! Oh, he's in the water! Good work, team. We've got this. Get him! Oh, it's going for me. Knock him in. There we go. Cleaned him up. Now there's like one left. Get him into the water. We can get him. There we go. Now we can do the bridge. So, will a tangent come to me? I'm sure it will, just... I do remember now why I don't pick things at this time. Do these things at this time generally. There is a bit of annoying background noise right now, but not an intolerable amount. I should be able to keep on top of this. Let me just quickly wrap up this one day. Let's see. Grab the blues again and I'll get them on the thing. Then I suppose I grab the yellows and I make them... Oh god, it's gonna grab the red again. Nope, there we go. Then I grab the yellows and grab a bomb and we knock down this wall and maybe another wall and then we're basically good. Oh, it just occurred to me, if I just take all these Pikmin and run them into the thing, will they just carry it out through the water? I bet they will. That's a very kind of... That would be a very Nintendo humor kind of thing, if I can just have them all run that out over the water. I will have to put a few others away, but that's no great fuss. And what the hell are those guys doing? A few of my blues got distracted, apparently. Again, just very funny, emergent behavior. There's no... If I'm laying out, like, the mechanical challenge of Pikmin, there's no reason to have them really do things like that. It doesn't create interesting gameplay possibilities or anything we can really quantify in, like, idiotic game design babble. It's just a funny thing that happens. It's... Again, just... This game is a product of very alien sensibilities to the people who consider... to those possessed by the people who consider themselves interesting innovators in video games, so yeah, nobody's going to be making anything like this anytime soon. If some of the alternative language and ideas I'm throwing around here could, one way or another, catch on, maybe we could start getting somewhere, but yeah, that's kind of a big ask. Can you really change someone's sensibilities in such a big way? I don't know. But then, like, the Japanese don't have some kind of innate blood magic going for them, do they? Like, I get all of this stuff. What happened? Did I turn myself Japanese somehow? Now, I'm very curious. Let's all watch this. Do they know what to do? Oh, they won't carry it through the water. That's interesting. I felt certain they would, and that this whole bridge thing was just a joke. Okay, well now I have a massive swarm of blues, so that'll do that quickly while I go get bombs. I did leave yellows out, I think. Yeah, this has been a very slow day. I'm just going to get one part today, but that's no great fuss. Yeah, if you're interested in listening to me as like a podcast type thing, as I know some people have said, this might be a bit boring. This is more just me messing around with the game. If you're not watching, I don't know if there's anything of great interest to see here. Feel free to skip ahead until I sound like I'm saying something again. I'll get there sooner or later, I always do. These games are just too interesting to me. Okay, grab that. Woo! And if you haven't seen me use those flowers over there, they change the colors of the Pikmin. I don't know if you have to do that. Maybe you do it at 1 or 2 points to get particularly out of the way ones. I think there's one in this area where you have to use that, but mostly it's just a kind of convenience option. If you have a lot of one kind of Pikmin, you don't really want it present, and you've managed to get low on another kind, or you don't have them on hand, you can just throw them into that colored flower, and that'll turn whatever you throw in into the color of the flower, which is a pretty neat idea. Okay, the blues finished that thing. Gee, there's a lot of these ones with bombs here. Okay, well, we cleared out the really big monsters. That's one thing sorted. And, run. Yeah, I'll get some kind of use out of those bombs. I don't know if the bomb Pikmin will survive what I have in mind, but we can get value out of them. Bombs respawn every day. Quickly get the blues doing something useful. That one who tripped, you can get on there as well. I did a little tactical whistle there. That's like the one strategic shortcut thing you'll see me do. If you dismiss Pikmin, they'll just get like sad and look for something to do, and yeah, if you just leave them dismissed in the path of a coming object or something, they'll just get really excited and carry it when it appears. Okay, quickly knock down that wall, so that's done for the next day, and I'll try to quickly get another wall while I have these guys. Oh crap, they're getting swarmed by things. Run, guys. Okay, we only lost one, but that knocked a whole wall down, as you can see. Pretty well done. Now I guess we've got the one part on its way back, and yeah, just if you didn't get a good look before, this is the whole area. It's just this kind of hollow tree trunk in the middle with this circuit around it with walls, which I've cleared now, so even if it didn't look like I was doing a lot today, we've just kind of optimized things, so it should be like a lot of tomorrow we'll just be running around collecting stuff that I've mostly cleared the path to. Like most of the big monsters are dealt with, and the walls, so that's... yeah, I should just be able to run up and grab them. Glue-on drive, dealt with, excellent. And here's this obnoxious guy who tries to grab them all. Save your friends. Get him. Nope, I didn't ask to repair the suit. I want to knock these guys down. Yeah, these guys are just very annoying. I would like to clean them up before we get to the next day. Here we go. As you can see, when I throw them all over the place, we end up with Pikmin everywhere. Those guys are all idle and basically looking for stuff to do, and lots of them are getting planted. This is a very chaotic mess, which is why I hate these swooping guys. And I'd better make sure I don't leave those yellows behind. They have flowers, so they're nice, and... oh, gee, we're just going to leave that one blue. I'd better make sure I get all these ones at least. Oh man, I hope they all get back in. Come on, team, let's go. Okay, most of them, as you can see, they're pale, which means they're not following me, but they still know to get in. Again, I think it's very cool how the game basically shows you stuff playing out in the engine organically. It's like a cutscene, but not. It's just very handy. And that's the end of the day, and unfortunately one blue at least got left behind, so... Yep, there he is. And there's the swarm of bugs. Cool detail that you may have noticed is that it's a different swarm of creatures taking them out in every different area. Yes, most of the remaining parts in this area of the level, we got lots of new reds, lost a small number of yellows and blues. Pretty good day, sprouted 44, lost in battle 32. Total number has gone up a touch, more than 100 of all of them. Gee, I have loads of blues. Alright, very good. Yeah, so all of them, all of them, all of them, all of them. Ship's log, in case you were wondering, the game does keep all those things you say. And yeah, let's just go back to this area. Pardon me. Distant spring again. Lots of Pikmin around, which you can see even in the landing cutscene who got planted. Yeah, just that kind of detail being present during a cutscene really helps sell that it's a kind of abstract Nintendo value that's hard to quantify, but the idea that things are like seamless, that the world that you're looking at when the flashy stuff is happening is the world that you're actually playing in. It's one continuity of logic, one continuity of how things look. Very much selling that you're not just like, the parts that you're playing aren't just this like crappy mini-game set within this real thing, but no, it's instead it's very much you're running in the world which actually runs on the logic of the game that you're playing. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. That strikes me as a sensation that I get from pretty much all of Nintendo's games. I think it is something they're going for. Now, this one is a bit tricky to get, but I'll just get this out of the way since I'm here. Now, what I have to do is run them along this wall, which is constructed so that they will just kind of not kill themselves and instead stick to just right along there, keeping up with me until we get alongside this thing. For some reason I thought they had to be yellows, but they don't. Now, I reckon what I did, I made a mistake, is when I was a kid I tried to... Well, it's something you actually can do, is you can... Oh god damn it. Come on, guys. Oh gee, I wonder if this'll work. Nope, they're all gonna... Yep. Bye. I was under the impression for some reason this was a yellow job. I reckon what I did as a kid was... What you can do is you can run yellows all along the edge and throw them up that high bit at the end there. Or what I understand now you're meant to do is you can run blues along the top and then have them carry it right out. Well, that's about 20 yellows dead because I forgot how that part works, but no great fuss, we can grow more of them, and here's our blues to go clean up. Yeah, I'm not the greatest at this game. It's a game I'm very fond of, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm good at any particular game I'm very fond of. Dead Rising, a game that's a lot like this, I can do things that are considered impressive in that game. Even then I can't do the tricks stuff, I just know it very well and don't screw up too often, but Pikmin, it's a game that I enjoy kind of marveling at rather than unpuzzling or making sense of. Pikmin doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that's just so much of the fun, isn't it? Now we're going to take lots of reds because they're the fighting ones. You may not have even noticed, it's not much of a difference, but the reds are the ones who are the best at fighting. They just do hit a bit harder when they get attached to monsters. Okay, this is actually a slightly dicey area where I have to deal with the... Yeah, I'm gonna come back with 100. We may get disrupted by that giant windbag monster thing. He's a bit of a problem. Him combined with the very big bowl bear monster things. Oh, come on, now this guy's coming for us again. Let's get him. Whole swarm. There we go. Too many for him to take off. That's awesome. You may have noticed last time he was shaking them off, but this time there were just too many Pikmin. There's probably some, like, threshold you can consistently pull off where he just can't get away, but again, it's the kind of detail that I like, not quite knowing, like, how many Pikmin it takes to overwhelm a monster first try right away rather than just having to, like, actually fight them. I'm sure it's possible to make the game boring by reducing it to numbers in that kind of way, but I really don't know at all and think that that makes it very, very fun. It's a game made for not really knowing these things. It's all about, rather than mastery of systems, it's about natural interactions between... Simulated isn't the word, but kind of, it almost is simulated in the sense... It's similar things I say about The Legend of Zelda. It's a kind of naturalistic simulation that we don't think to call a simulation, even though it technically is one. Something someone got into an argument with me over before I may have brought this up is the game Thief, and how Thief has a kind of similar interaction logic to... Uh-oh, don't wake up the big thing. Has a kind of similar objects and natural elements interaction element to The Legend of Zelda. I compared them and some guy said that I basically shouldn't do that, or that, like, Nintendo owes something to Thief. Yeah, maybe they kind of do, but yeah, just... It's a tendency which the Japanese took in a direction which interests me, while Thief... There's something admirable to what it had going on, but... Yeah, it's just kind of weird. I suppose that... Yeah, that's right, the Thief guys, I was just trying to, like, put together the thought of, okay, what did they do after they were done with Thief, and I can remember now. Oh gee, what's that guy stomping off and doing? Probably eating more of my Pikmin who got loose. Let's ignore him for the minute and see what else is going on. Oh gee, the Pikmin, they're just running off in every direction trying to make chaos for me. Okay, they want to get the sap, or whatever it is, nectar, I've been told. This is, some people I've been told find this funny when I'm actually playing the game, how chaotic things tend to get every time I'm playing. I'm not trying to play this up for comedy, this game really does just become a mess. Especially if you're me, apparently. Let's just grab these big pellets. Look at all those disappointed Pikmin who didn't get a chance to carry something. But there we go, pretty much everyone's got work to do. And there's all the ones who fell off the carry train because they were overloaded. What was I saying? Yes, the Looking Glass Studios, the guys who made... Did any of these end up going to yellow? Nope. All blue and red. Well, we'll use lots of those guys, I suppose. We've got more than 100 yellows still, so no great fuss. Yes, Looking Glass Studios, they created a kind of naturalistic logic for potentially solving problems, but largely just something you could mess around with. They started this... As far as I know, this really came about with the Thief game. That's the one where they had the object tagging system where, like, for example, like, fabric that's, like, hanging on a wall will be tagged as flammable, and an arrow with fire on it is tagged as fire, so if the fire tagged thing comes into contact with the flammable tagged thing, you get ignition. That's all very handy, and you may see where I'm going, that that's basically the logic of something like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And the old Legend of Zelda games, I was saying, are basically like running on an abstract, like, not there yet simulation of going for the same ideal, and yeah, basically getting the same result. And I may have talked about this in relation to Pikmin a while back, sorry if I already did, but it's on my mind again. Nintendo are guys who go for naturalistic results, not necessarily by simulating an entire system. Like, you don't need to have, like, you don't need to be programming, you know, the properties of a particular mineral or whatever to the point of, like, okay, it gets heated to this point and then it catches fire in some kind of robust, actually modeled chemical interaction or whatever. You may remember when that game No Man's Sky was coming out, it was very obviously a poorly thought out and forced shilling campaign by that poor guy running the production who was forced to do PR instead of actually making the game because Sony is run by idiotic people. Anyway, where was I going? Yeah, that game, I remember the really weird forced selling point was like, oh, well, like the colors of planets' atmospheres and stuff, that's not fake, like we did the math. The game is like simulating the entire periodic table and all these forces of gravity and light and so on, and you know, for one, it's like a PlayStation 4 game. Very obviously that's not true, but then second, like, if it were, why would that actually be a selling point? Like, to a certain kind of person, I imagine it probably was, but genuinely, I don't understand. Like, Pikmin is not actually simulating an entire ecosystem, it is just doing, like, the bare minimum necessary to get the effect and the impression, and yeah, that's the point that I make, that beyond the effect and the impression, what in the goddamn is the point? Genuinely, I don't know why people bother. I think it's a kind of white man neurosis that the Japanese don't have, which makes them much better at this kind of thing. Alright, I have to focus quickly on dealing with this guy, but hopefully you can already see where I'm going, and I'll, there we go. Get him, get him, get him. Okay, he's like half done. Good job, team. Turn around, you stupid. Fighting this guy in this enclosed space is actually harder because he hits the walls rather than easier. See, what was that? I don't even know. But he hit like one Pikmin, so no great problem. I may have been standing too close to execute it, but I've got to throw a thing into his thing. There we go. But yeah, hopefully you could see where I was going with that thought, and I swear I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done throwing Pikmin onto this guy and killing him. Okay, we gotta do that once more, but I think we can manage. Come on, turn around. Uh-oh. Oh, god damn it, I suck. Come on. There we go. Okay, what did we lose? 15? That's fine. Yeah, my threshold for acceptable losses is pretty high in this game. We found the bowsprit. So if you wanted to read those, you can pause it on like the brief window where it's up, but it's not the most interesting part of the game. Again, Pikmin 2 has a lot more emphasis on its writing and is just saying more interesting things. This one I just kind of flip over it without thinking about it. It's not bad, it's just less interesting to me, but yes, what was I saying? Looking Glass Studios and The Legend of Zelda have a kind of similar final impression of, oh, well, I can do these kind of naturalistic interactions between natural forces and just various things that exist in the game world. I can light things on fire if they're flammable, just things will react somewhat intuitively, ice will freeze, conductive things will conduct electricity, and so on, but yeah, basically one kept developing and one just died off completely, and probably not the ones you would expect to on paper. The industry which basically tended towards always faking this and doing just enough to get the impression is the one who kept developing and doing more interesting things and developing more and more elaborate games around this premise of naturalistic interactions between things, while the guys who, you know, if you're a fool, you might think are the more passionate ones, the guys who are really into building the systems. Yeah, we did the math, our game has like working chemistry or whatever. Yeah, that company, just like half of its guys just went like out of business because this stuff is silly and not that commercially viable. And the other half, they just kind of like, I don't know, just sold out and started making junk like BioShock Infinite. That might sound very punitive that I'm calling them outright sellouts, but it's very silly to me, that whole tendency. Those guys at Looking Glass Studios, it's just like, yeah, you incorporated flammability into whatchamacallit, into Thief the Dark project, but that silly game title kind of gives up where I'm coming from, doesn't it? Like, Thief the Dark project, they took it seriously as far as they could, that premise, but it just sounds inherently silly to me and not really worth the effort. It's very much a kind of stock video game concept, which kind of became something more coherent as they were stabbing at it and just hammering it out. It became a stealth game, people retroactively call it now. You know, I would just call it Thief. Thief is Thief. It's entirely self-contained and can't really be explained better by reference to things which came after it. Thief became Thief, and that's perfectly good for Thief. This other part's not going to get back today. I'm taking a long time, but let's just see how close this gets. Boop, boop. And we'll just whistle them back so they don't all die. Yeah, I might actually call this video here and then start recording another one like immediately afterwards, so if you want me to elaborate on this Looking Glass Studios thought, don't worry, I will be back on it in like 30 seconds, just about 2 days each has been about the length of a video so far, and if someone only wants to watch so much or they want a good place to call it, I'll do that now and I'll go just check in on stuff, make sure I'm recording properly, and then I'll get right back on it and elaborate further on this kind of naturalism versus effect, simulation, technical simulation versus natural effect kind of tendency. I hope at least one of you finds that interesting, but again, I'm afraid I may even have elaborated on this at length already. Oh well. The scenery of this planet, which I once found hostile, now strikes me as serene. Yes, that's some of the good Pikmin writing there, just a thought to leave off on. That's very much the experience I had with the game. It's very much... Pikmin, I think, has a lot in common with Far Cry 2, Pikmin 2 especially, where both are very deliberately, in how their story plays out, modeling the kind of intended progression of a player engaging with it. What I believe Far Cry 2's story is about probably wouldn't surprise you too much, but I could elaborate on that next video too. But yeah, basically the straight reading of Far Cry 2 is kind of correct. I don't even know what the straight reading is. In fact, it's probably wrong. People manage to be wrong about everything, don't they? That can be another subject of the next video, but yeah, what Olimar's saying here, it's very true of me. I consider this game very serene now, but it looked hostile to me once. I'm very familiar now, I know how to survive, and isn't that just how things are? They start out scary and then they become serene. And let's look at our bars for the day. Those poor yellow Pikmin took a bit of a beating. Well, we still sprouted more than we lost, so pretty good day. And I will actually call it there and then get on the next one. Thanks for watching, and 6 to go. Yeah, we'll clean that up pretty quick.